as the competition moves on. We're here because we recognize the importance of enabling you, all of you, to grow up capable of solving the world's problems and building a brighter future than the one we live in now. We're here because we believe in creating greater access, tools, and avenues to level the field for everyone to achieve success in STEM careers across the board, to permeate every industry, and inspire and create new ones like Dean Kamen has and is doing. We're here because at SNU CETA, we've created a place for you to continue on your path. All of you raised your hands to come to college, so yeah, come check us out. We're here to design, create, serve, and soar. It's a place for students to mentor one another, to tackle important issues in the spirit of collaboration, and to have fun while they do it. And let's face it, you've done that on all of your teams. That's what's brought you here today, right? Right? CETA is a place where every student can shape not just their own future, but the future of the world. And because you've committed to first, because you're doing this right now, you are well on that way to your bright future. We are thrilled beyond measure to serve as the New Hampshire State First Tech Challenge hosts this year. I celebrate the achievements of every student, of every team, and every coach, as well as express our deepest thanks and gratitude for each volunteer for your service today. Thank you so much.
Gaynell Swan, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Autodesk helps design the world, and if it has construction products written on it, it's Paul Blandini. Let's welcome Autodesk Director of Business Operations. Great job.
Thank you. Thank you. First, I got to say I have nowhere near amount of energy as these Hawaiian shirt guys. So I love that video. It's really an incredible way to show some of the innovations of some of the students out there in the world. So it's really awesome. So good morning. I wanted to first congratulate all the teams. It's really an incredible accomplishment to get this far. Autodesk, as you probably know, I mean, we're worldwide supporters at first, and we truly believe it's critical to help students prepare themselves for the jobs of the future. Now, technology, it's changing really fast, and it's influencing how design and things are made. And at Autodesk, we're creating the next generation of design and engineering tools for designers, engineers, and makers. Now you, all the students out there and all of the teams, you are the next generation that'll design and create the world around us. Think about that. You'll be the ones that'll creating the autonomous cars, the skyscraper, the net zero energy skyscrapers, the amazing animations, movies, and films out there, and gaming content. And of course, you'll also be contributing to new innovative software technology that will enable future creation. And maybe at some point you all will work at Autodesk. Now teams, embrace the experiences you're having with FIRST. Now sure, competition and winning is fun. We all know that. but don't underestimate the technical experiences, the process experience, and the team dynamic that will benefit your future. It's more valuable than you realize. Autodesk is here to help you. So a show of hands. So how many people actually have used design software for your so a decent amount. So now another show of hands. How many of you have, had an idea in your head, you started grabbing parts, started to put together and said, oh gosh, the holes don't line up, there may be some mechanisms that are colliding? I know you're out there. Everyone should be raising their hands. That's where Autodesk can actually help you. We have design software that can actually help you experience your projects and your designs before you actually start making it and making it real. So actually if you have a chance, certainly visit our Autodesk booth over there. We have a lot of folks here some of my colleagues that are really skilled in computer design, and they can help you learn a little bit more about design and engineering and how you might be able to benefit your robots for next year. So I actually want to leave you with one thing here, and not everybody is going to grow up to be an architect, an engineer, or a designer. I mean, we know that, and I've actually heard from a lot of teams so far. There's some of you that are non-technical people that have joined the teams. So I just want to, learning to contribute with those kind of skills in a world of design and engineering and making is really important. So don't lose sight of that. And at the end of the day, someone needs to manage all these wacky engineers. So I just want to say thank you, good luck, and obviously most important is just have fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Great job. I'm good. Frank has to get the mic. Our next guest speaker, I get so excited every single time she comes to a first event. And let me just say some things that massively impressed me about her. First off, if she's in the state of New Hampshire and there's a first event going on, she is going to that first event. She was involved at coming to first events and knowing about it when she was a state senator, when she was a governor, and now a part of the U.S. Senate. And this person is so dedicated to what goes on in this state. And down in Washington, I mean, she serves on incredible committees. Pretty much every committee I could think of it's important to me, from transportation and commerce to homeland security to health and education, all the things that are so important to us, she's dedicated to. We get the most bang for our buck out of her. Let's welcome the one and only Senator Maggie Hassan.
I should just have David come with me everywhere I go, because that's a phenomenal introduction. Thank you, David, for your dedication and your commitment to FIRST. Thank you, as always, to Dean Kamen, without whom this wouldn't be happening, and without whom lives wouldn't be saved by all this technology that he's created. Our economy wouldn't be growing with the jobs that he's created. So let's hear it again for Dean Kamen. And then there are a whole lot of people like Don Bossie and the whole staff at FIRST who make this all work. They implement Dean's vision. They create visions of their own. We also have volunteers, parents, mentors, sponsors here, so thank you all very much. There are other elected officials roaming around here, and they are incredibly dedicated and committed to FIRST too, regardless of political party. So I want you all to know that. Just a couple of thoughts before you all get started. First of all, when I see that wonderful automated car, I think about how cool the technology is, and I will let you all know, as a history major and lawyer, I don't understand how that works. Although there are an awful lot of people who keep trying to teach me. But here's what I see when I see that vehicle. I see the possibility that my mom, who's now 86, can decide she wants to live anywhere as she ages, because eventually she will decide to stop driving, but it won't mean that she can't use cars anymore, right? I think about my son. I think about my son who uses a wheelchair. Now, Ben can't speak and he can't use his fingers, he can't walk, but he's very smart, and he loves to engage with people around him. But that automated vehicle also means at some point in the future, Ben could live much more independently than he can now, and a car could be programmed to lift him in his wheelchair up into it, and he could go wherever he decides he wants to go. That's a kind of freedom that is extraordinary. So when I tell you that on the 3 committees David mentioned, the Health Education Committee, the Commerce and Transportation Committee, the Homeland Security Committee, I am confronted as a policymaker every day with the promise of this technology and what it will do to liberate us all and help grow our economy and help us all thrive together and build on our promise of equality. But I also have to confront the second piece of this, which is how do we build roads that handle automated vehicles? What kind of signaling do they need? How do we make sure that the truck manufacturer works with the car manufacturer so that their technology talks to each other when they're on the road, right? Those are policy issues that go well beyond technology. And that's why it is also so important that you all not only hone down on these technical skills, but that the kind of teamwork you're doing is so critical to helping us solve the bigger problems that we're going to have going forward as we adapt and integrate this technology into our daily lives. Lastly, you will hear from the wonderful Professor Woody Flowers. And if you haven't heard from Woody before, he is part of this vision too. And among the many things that Woody speaks about is the concept of gracious professionalism. How do you work together and compete while still being strong first citizens? That concept of gracious professionalism applies to the United States of America and our democracy too. Because what I'm thinking about is not only how you will succeed in your jobs and how you will create new technology and solve new technological problems, we need you to be committed to being the kind of citizens that help people with different ideas and different perspectives come together and move forward so that we can meet that American promise of ours. That American promise that says, remember, and if you haven't studied a lot of U.S. history yet, please do. We are unique. We say in the United States of America that every single person counts, that anybody who works hard should have the chance to get ahead and stay ahead. Our job in government is to make sure that that platform for success is accessible truly to every single person. Dean said only a few of the robots will win today, but all of you will win. That is the secret to American success. We understand that life is not a zero-sum game. We understand that when we unleash the talent and energy of every single American, then we all get stronger and better together. That's more than anything else, to me, what FIRST is about. So go get them. I look forward to what you will achieve. And remember, moving forward, we are successful as a country only because every generation of Americans, as they grow into adults, take on the responsibility of being the best citizens in the world. Thank you all.
Thank you, Senator. Maggie Hassan. So I should say this about, and Maggie, I'll say this while you're here in the room. I only follow like 4 things on Twitter. 2 of them are Formula One drivers. 1 is FIRST. And Maggie Hassan, you're the only person I really follow on Twitter. I'm impressed. Thank you. All right, next. The way I said that Autodesk helps design the world, Bosch helps build the world, and they make awesome things. Let's give it up for George Berg, the director or the vice president of operations for Bosch.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna keep this very brief. It's always impressive to participate in these events. It's incredible what your children are doing and what you kids are doing. And Bosch, we're now an $80 billion company globally with over 400,000 employees. And our motivation is simple. We want to hire you. We don't have enough engineers. And locally, I'd say the second motivation is we want to make New Hampshire desirable for our people that we're relocating to this area. We want the schools to be the schools of choice, and this program does an awesome job of that. So we want New Hampshire to be where people live as we build our company here. So if you want to work on cool products like that autonomous vehicle there, that has more Bosch content than any other vehicle on the road. Check out our e-bikes, check out the BB-8s, the sensors in your iPhone, the sensors in that robot over there, all Bosch. So come and check out our product and look me up when you graduate. Thank you.
Thank you, George. George Berg. Our next guest I met at this event last year. Were any teams in this room? Were you at Wolfboro last year? Any teams? So last year, this is, I think, the second year. Last year was the first state championship in New Hampshire. And our next person, our Commissioner of Education for the state of New Hampshire, Frank Edelblu, he was literally, I'm lying now, I think it was like his first day on the job. It could have been a week or a month, but to me it was like your first day. He at the time had only heard about FIRST Robotics, and what impressed me was that for the next 2.5 months, every single New Hampshire FIRST event Frank Edelblu went to. He lives and breathes FIRST Robotics. He knows it's important. Let's welcome Frank Edelblu.
Thank you. It's true. I live and breathe FIRST Robotics because, as many of you know, but I know there's some rookie teams who may not know this, my kids also participated in FIRST Robotics, so I know the value of being on a team and what a great opportunity it is. So let's give it up for all the teams that are represented here right now. We had a little dabbing going on up in the top there. So I have another question. I know we talked about Maine, and we've got 29 teams from New Hampshire. How many New Hampshire teams received a robotics grant through our robotics grant program that we passed at the state level? Can you clap and show me who you are?
That's cool. I didn't know that.
We have started over 100 new teams this year through that grant program, and we will continue to keep our foot on the accelerator to make sure that we create lots of opportunities for all of you. Now, I know we talked about, Bosch was just up here. There he is over there. He's recruiting you for jobs, and jobs are great. But can we just be clear? When you're on a FIRST Tech team, what you really like is doing cool things with your robots, don't you? That's more important than even a job at this point, isn't it? So how many of you guys are doing really cool things with your robots this year? I can't wait to see them operate just as... How many of you guys want to take that car home today? I do as well. Thank you so much. You guys have a great tournament today.
Thank you, Frank. Great job. Before I introduce our last guest, there's two other people that I want to single out. The first one is just hiding. Oh, that's not going to work, Frank. Our first person is right here in the front row. Please stand up. Don Bosey. He's the president of FIRST Robotics. Thank you, Don. And over on the side, another person that's really, really modest. He has a blue shirt on the side, great sideburns. Ken Johnson is the head of FIRST Tech Challenge in New Hampshire. Thank you, Ken. And now I often get choked up introducing our next speaker. He is all free range, 100% organic. He is a New Hampshire 2018 honorary millennial. Let's give it up for the co-founder of FIRST, Dr. Woody Flowers.
An all-natural, unbelievable, one of the best MCs on the planet. Thank you, Dave. So it's really great to be at the first event, and I feel compelled to explain that I feel good about being here because of you guys, as I often feel obligated to do in echoing some of the things that Senator Hassan said and others, that gracious professionalism is so incredibly important and is so wonderful. And I feel like I should apologize to you guys for what we adults have done, because we have made a mess of some things. Our relationship with one another and our relationship with the planet is kind of not exactly ideal. But I'm really confident that you're going to help sort it out. And one of the things that seems very clear is that we adults have created a society and a technology, et cetera, that's moving ahead much faster than our brain is evolving. And the primitive parts of our brain are rearing its ugly head, and some bad behavior is showing. It's really clear, for example, that facts don't matter as much as what the local tribe says. Now, evolution created that part of our brain, and it's part of the primitive brain, and it's dominant, and it's hidden, and it's really sneaky and very powerful. You guys are going to learn enough about your own thinking process and your own learning process to be able to recognize the parts of the primitive brain that help, that evolution rewarded those parts and helped humans become the dominant species on the planet. But we still have some pieces rattling around in there that were appropriate to propagate our DNA back in the savannah 100,000 years ago, but not appropriate now. So you're in a position to learn, to think about your own thinking and learn some epistemology. You know, how do you find truth? Now, I gave a talk last week. MIT had a festival of learning all-day session that was part of the independent activities period, and I gave a talk entitled Nerd Epistemology. And one of the things that I argued, that I believe deeply, is that by working the way you are at the interface between a robot, which is an all-natural thing, the robot behaves according to the same rules absolutely flawlessly. It's epistemologically perfect. Mother Nature applies all of her rules all the time. You operate with an interface to the robot and to yourself and your team and society. On the human side, things are much more complicated. If you ever understand them on the universe side, you got it. Humans have done a really kind of remarkable job of digging out some of that mystery and helping understand enough to create things like that Tesla over in the corner. Really amazing stuff. Over here, we're just beginning to get there. You guys are going to help because as you go back and forth across that, you think of something, you imagine it, and then you go over and you build it, and Mother Nature either says, nice, or slaps you on your butt. Says, no, it doesn't work that way. You go back to the other side, you work with your other teammates, etc. You go back and forth across that. I believe that is an incredibly precise explanation of critical thinking. So if you learn to deal with truth and how it intersects with the human mind, you're in a much better position to make some rational decisions about what we here on this planet Earth have to do. So I'm anxious for you guys to exercise that, learn everything you can, and just remember, in going back and forth across that interface, you will learn absolutely, as I'm sure you already have in your team, being right does not make you persuasive, and being persuasive does not make you right. Both those are really important lessons, so you need to have a balanced approach to learning both. And speaking of being both persuasive and right, I'd like to kick off my part of this season by getting my signature shirt started with some very important signatures, maybe from the highest-ranking U.S. government official here, Maggie, from the founder of FIRST, Dean, and from the head of FTC, Ken. Please. Come on. So this shirt is now about to go way up in importance and value. I will try very hard to get as many of you to sign it today as I can. My only request is you sign relatively small because by the end of the season, your signature will be lost if it's too big. Thank you. FTC rocks.
Thank you, Woody Flowers. Thank you. Thank you. All right. We're just ready to get started with our first match. I have a few more people I want you to thank. You want to thank these people because today's results might be because of their judgments. Let's welcome Steve Goyette and our judge advisor and all the judges over on the side. I got to thank you guys. Good to see you, Kerry. We'll do introductions later on today before we start our closing ceremonies. And finally, the zebras are in the house. Let's welcome our referees. Boom, 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 boom. Please remember the referees' rulings on the field are final. They're here to make sure that you get as many points as possible, but they're also here to have fun because they're volunteers. Like our judges and like the rest of the volunteers in the room, can we give a big round of applause for all of our volunteers? And finally, can I ask you all please to stand up? If capable, remove your hat for our national anthem. Let's get ready for robots! Match 1 and 2 are on the field in just a minute.